It's a Kodak moment.
Believe me, I know you're sick of hearing this because I'm sick of saying it. I'm going to be out of town this weekend, so I'm recording early on Wednesday night. So, of course, Hasbro has a panel at a Comic-Con in Brazil on Thursday. So, if you're looking for those reveals, we'll swing back around next week, because I'm Robo. This here's the rewind. Because there's always something to swing back around to, right? Like the Unparalleled Universe Odious Kickstarter that is ending this weekend. If you're watching this on Saturday, there is not much time to get your Odious in either cowboy gear or soldier fatigues. And I'm hoping this goes through because they both look fantastic. Rebel 10 Customs did the soft goods on them, and there's just something to be said about a hairy beast in normal people clothes. Is that a good way to describe it? Yeah, it's odious through the ages. As you're watching this, time's almost over. So it's the last push. That we know how Kickstarters go. If you go and look at it and think, well, that's never gonna happen, it's not gonna happen because you didn't throw any money in. And it's not even throwing money in until after it's over. There's no use in waiting it out or wanting to be the last one or waiting for it to kick. There's no reason. If you're interested in it at all, just throw your pledge in and then go from there. I'm also swinging back around to the Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2E Honda because of something I said. Now don't get me wrong, I said it's a great sculpt, excellent paints, the accessory with the multiple hands, mwah, that works so well. But I also said the soft goods on it look fantastic, and after a few comments to that video, yeah. Those aren't soft goods. I chalk it up to the holiday weekend of running in, looking at some pictures, getting in front of a camera and talking about it, which is terrible journalism, but nobody ever claimed I was a news guy. Nobody claims. I just get up here and talk about toys. If I say something wrong, it's still toys. In fact, when the first comment hit of, hey, those aren't soft goods, those are plastic, I thought, shit. If these were soft goods, they would be the greatest looking soft goods in the world because of the wrinkles and the textures and such, matching up to the scale of the figure. Now, that's not to say I don't like soft goods. They allow for movement whenever they're covering up certain joints, you know, like hips or shoulders. Well, actually, when they're on shoulders, they usually limit how far you can go up or out. You know what I mean. I am fully aware that sometimes I see what I wanna. It's still a great looking figure though, right? Right? That brings us to the ThreeZero MDLX Mega Man Cutman. That seemed like a good segue because when I think of Mega Man these days, I automatically think of Jada Toys, completely forgetting that ThreeZero has been running MDLX scaled Mega Mans for a while now. And I do mean Mega Mans, or X. I'm not up on the lore of Mega Man, so I don't know the difference. I just know that it seems like it's been Mega Man and or X in different variations up until now. And the only reason I know Cutman is because of the Jada Toys. That's not taking anything away from MDLX. If these are anything like their Transformers, I guarantee you that these are quality action figures. And I'm assuming the quality is the same because these bear the MDLX name. So it's in the same category. Why wouldn't it be the same standards? I love the addition of the blade flight effect piece in the blue. Make it more apparent that it's like throwing, well, the proportions seem to be a little different than the Jada Toys. I don't know if that's because source material, but we're still talking about old video games brought up to modern standards. So the Jada Toys may be a little shorter and squatter. This may be slightly taller and thinner, but maybe that's a style. Maybe you've been waiting for this. But there's also the question of whether ThreeZero will continue doing the Robot Masters. If they're gonna knock them out one at a time, then it is an uphill battle. Or maybe they'll run it like their Transformers, where they do a couple of repaints, which they've been doing, the Mega Mans in different color schemes, and then hitting us with a new sculpt or a new character, maybe a couple, and then boom, back to some reissues. So that's just how they do things. So if you're waiting, you may be waiting a while, but it may be worth it. I talked way longer about Mega Man than I thought I would whenever I saved these pictures in this folder. A little itty bitty tidbit of news from the Big Bad Workshop front. The next issue of Toy Collector Magazine has the debut of Agents of Omega on the cover. Big Bad Workshop actually teased this on their Facebook page a week or so back. An adventure type guy inside a coiled snake. Now, I'm assuming that they're going to follow the same formula as they do with their other lines. It's a shared parts inventory between the different series. And I guess this is going to be the adventure crew going out and exploring, or just accidentally running across evil and having to fight that. I will admit, though, I'm more interested than the snake. No, well, not more interested. I'm always interested in, you know, human action figures. But the snake is interesting. Where will it go from here? I don't know. I'm sure we won't have to wait long. It never fails. As soon as the last rewind went live, 4 Horsemen posted their new Figura, Obscura, Nutcracker Mouse King. They started teasing earlier than that, but it's too late at that point. You know me, recording early all the time. So, there was a lot of speculation as to what was going to drop Saturday. A lot of people were hoping for their next entry into the Christmas Carol series. One of the Ghosts, Scrooge, something like that. So when this hit, there was some disappointment. Not disappointment as in, down with the 4 Horsemen, they can do nothing right. They did not cater directly to my own personal wants and needs. It was more like, oh, well, that's neat, but I was hoping for something else. Thing about the Christmas Carol series, though, they've already stated that they will be finishing that out. Well, that's an ongoing thing. Maybe not as fast as some are hoping for, but as far as I'm concerned, I wasn't buying that series. I kind of niece and nephew Veebs' figures. I go up, see them, think, oh, those are amazing. All right, bye. So I was expecting to get out of the drop without spending any money. But when I saw this, not that I care anything about the Nutcracker, but this is just a badass looking multi-headed mouse. A mini craniumed rodent ruler. Or there's options to make them into single-headed or guards or different, swap things out, you know, Figura, Obscura, Mythic Legions. But there's also a creep factor because not that I'm scared of mice, but they always seem to startle you, right? You're walking along, and then, oh, you jump, then you realize, what is that thing gonna do? On top of that, I'm kind of thinking that this figure is in 1/1 scale if you wanna set it around in your Christmas displays, maybe? The heads are what get me, really. Plus, I just love the mini-headed design. Like, it gets you pondering. Who controls the body? Which head? Do they all talk at the same time? Do they argue? Do they get along? So that, along with the beautiful promotional pictures, which is always a determining point when it comes to purchasing your pretty plastics, I grabbed it. I had to get it. That drop has since sold out, but if you are watching this on Saturday, there should be another drop today. So, link is in the description. I've somehow missed the Harbinger Studios Savage Crucible Wave 4 pre-orders this month. And going back to that, once again, I'm looking at figures going, ugh. Snakes are a different story from mice. Like I said, mice surprise you, and then you think, what am I doing? When I run across a snake, and I often do where I live, it's more of a, wait a second, that thing can kill me. I've spent way too much time in the woods, and every single time it's just a mini heart attack every time one comes slithering out or I roll up on one on a trail. To make the heads of these snake guys very snake-like, I don't like it. But I kind of like it. If you absolutely hate it, there's different options. For Setkara, the Dune Reaper, there's also kind of a morphed head. It's half snake, half human. And then for Naom Arkan something, there is also a half transformed type face. But then probably my favorite is the Gorgon head. There's just something about a snake with other snakes coming off. Again, multi-headed. Do these have a mind of their own? If this one does? Or do these just listen to the skull? What gets me about this figure too is the fades on the armor pieces. I don't know why. It's that different color scheme just appearing within it. The transition is very, very nice. But then for this one is the busyness of the armor plates. It's kind of that scaly look, or bones, or some, I don't know what it is. It's just super interesting to look at. I saw some comments on various socials asking about the tail, and apparently when these go through the Crucible as snakes, the bodies just split into the limbs, whereas the lizard people in Savage Crucible, their base body, or the original form, lizards already have legs. So those would elongate into arms and legs while still having a tail. Now I'm thinking about that too much. I've lost track. To change things up a little bit for Wave 4, there's also Frazetta's Kubla Khan. This is just a human type with weapons and swords and armor pieces. That's not taking away from it, but after I got all hyped up about the snake people, it's, oh, this is just a human. It still looks great, especially with the optional heads there, the masks and the decayed head. I don't know a lot about Kubla Khan. Can you tell? If you go to the Savage Crucible pre-order site, there are two options for each of these figures. There's the early bird price if you pay in full now, but then there's also a deposit. You throw down $5, but then the total price is slightly higher, catering to your wallet, your monetary needs. Mezco's been on a tear lately with their 1/12 collective line, just one after another, after another, after another. I don't remember exactly when they showed the Rumble Society White Skull agent Senor Blanco, but it doesn't matter. It came and went super fast. It's Rumble Society and it's Mezco exclusive. You blink, you miss. Which for me is okay, because when I looked at this, I thought, and I know I sometimes say dude in suit in a negative way, but it's just dude in suit who just happens to have a white skull. Well, I say that, I was going through the promotional images and I didn't realize there was also a second head that was more alien-like. And for some reason that was more, oh, wait, that's okay. But like a lot of Rumble Society, this is spruced up with the accessories, and there are a lot of them. Just gears and gadget and clothings and add-ons. I really like the portal thing though. Is that one of those hollow plastic pieces? I've seen those in the past, but I haven't seen one like this. At least haven't held one in person. But that was all just pre-show for their other release this week, the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. We saw these back at San Diego Comic-Con, and there I looked at them and thought, well, okay, another set of movie Turtles, but they're on the shelf, bright lights, people talking, the crowd, security yelling at you constantly. So it was more of a, oh, okay, Turtles, they're doing Turtles, and here's this. Like I said earlier, pretty promos are the determining factor a lot of times. And here, yeah, they do look good. They evoke the movie style. Now, they're not perfect. Mezco always puts their figures through their own filter in some way or another. In fact, I first thought, oh, are these the same base bodies as their previous Turtles? No. As soon as I brought up old pictures, the shell, the proportions, the musculature, everything is different. The bodies are nice. It's the heads. Again, slightly off, but dang close enough to make me think, man, I do love the 1990 TMNT movie. It is way better than it had any right to be. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean, you think, okay, live action TMNT, okay. Whoa. Caught me off guard that there's going to be moving eyeballs. That is far from my favorite action feature in the history of toys, but there's something special about it here that almost brings it closer to that movie look, you know, with those just moving. Oh, it's kind of creepy in the shots where they're looking to the side, but it sells it. Plus, it's an extra bit of engineering that goes towards the price point. Because if you're doing a quick pass on a galloping horse, it is just the figures with a couple of extra heads, an array of hands, and then their weapons. And when it comes to Mezco releases, that seems a bit slim, even for the $350 price point, which means each turtle is a little over $80. The standard base Mezco price. They didn't even try to juice it up by putting the head on the figure over into the extra head section. So a lot of times we see that same facial expression and you think, oh, there's 6 heads. No, there's only 5. This one goes over here. Each turtle has 3 distinct heads. Well, Mikey's are all smiles, but it's Mikey. And it's a shame the Donatello head doesn't have a mouth inside the mouth. You know what I'm talking about. Ultimately, I passed on these because I have the NECA sets, so I already have representation. These are nice, but with everything coming out at the moment, you have to make some hard decisions sometimes. But if you didn't care for the NECA and like Mezco style more, there you go. Mondo's also continuing with their Masters of the Universe 2000X 1/12 scale figures with Skeletor. I don't know why I said it like that. I guess I was trying to go into an imitation or an impression and didn't. I think at the last split second, I thought, nope, don't do it. Too late. We've seen He-Man, we've seen Clawful, and those super nice, impressed as all hell. But for some reason, Skeletor takes it to another. I think because this may be one of Skeletor's better looks. He's got the extra dangles and the bones in other places. That's taking nothing away from the classic look, the vintage line look, the cartoon collection, but really when it comes down to it, it's a blue guy with a skull head. This kind of mixes things up a bit more. I've always liked the addition of the cape too. Again, going back to the original design, it is just a hood up on top. Is he protecting the top of his skull? Maybe because he doesn't have skin on it? It rains or snows or the sun. Well, the sun would burn skin. Again, I'm overthinking it. The cape is a natural extension of the hood while filling out the body. Not that this body needs any filling out. I think that's another thing I like about this. It has the mass and the proportions that takes it to the next level. Again, the super jacked squat look of the figures of my childhood, I got nothing against them. In fact, the only Masters line I'm buying at the moment is Cartoon Collection. But I look at this and think, oh, should I have passed on He-Man and Clawful? Or maybe I can just buy Skeletor. That never works. If I get a Skeletor, I gotta get a He-Man, and then I need the secondary guys, the Man-at-Arms, Beast-Man, and there's the Snowball. Like He-Man and Clawful, there is a timed edition that comes with extra goodies, and then there's a basic release that, well, it still has accessories and things. It's just not as loaded down. The base offering is the body, some hands, the power swords, the Havoc staff, and an extra skull head. The exclusive comes with all of that, plus a base, a flaming Havoc staff, a couple of extra skull heads on top of the one extra, and then a face plate. I think I've said it before, I didn't catch a lot of 2000X. Every time I was around a TV and it was on Cartoon Network, it seemed to be the same episode. It had to do with Stratos. So I have no clue if the mask was a thing in 2000X. I'm very emotive today. Also don't know why the extra skulls are bone white. I do like the sad look though. And I really like the flaming Havoc staff. Stop trying to talk yourself into it. As we go along, I'm like, well, I really like this and I like that too. Maybe I will drop the money. The price difference between the basic release and the timed edition isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be with all the extra accessories. It seems worth it, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, still expensive, but it's Mondo, and it looks super nice. The accessories. The figure is 7.5 inches. People are saying, well, that's still 1/12 scale because we're talking about big, jacked guys. Oh, and before I forget, when I saw the power swords come together and is it the pommel down on the end has the wrapped around the thing? That's awesome. I have a month to decide. I have no problem passing on the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Amazon exclusive Battlefront 2 Phase 1 Assault Trooper and Battle Droid Officer though. Not because I hate Star Wars or anything, it's just that these are nice. They're cool. It's great that they're reusing molds and putting different paint schemes on to give us different versions of both these trooper types. But I don't even remember these from Battlefront 2. I guess I used movie designs And when it comes to that, I would like to see these kinds of 2-packs, but in movie styles. You know, the things we've been asking for a long time now. Now, that's not taking anything away from the people who want Battlefront 2 designs. Maybe these are your favorite skins to use and the weapons that come along with them. But for me, it's just an oddball target battle and then red on a clone. It's not enough for me to go, whew. I mean, it's nice to see something Star Wars Black Series after the... Has it been a little bit? Was it the last show? They seem to be quiet, even though I've bought quite a bit of Black Series. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but we're due for a big, huge reveal, I think. Something that'll shake the heavens, that'll put a disturbance in the force. And I'm talking about this because it went live today. I'm sure that they're going to be revealing this at the Brazil show tomorrow. So that's how I got the early this. I wish the Marvel Legends stuff had gone up too, because I want to see what happens there. On the Marvel front, here is an announcement that Mess Toys will be making Ultimate Neighbor, which is basically a Spider-Man with the tooling they've borrowed from Kyoto. And when I first saw it, I thought, okay, a classic Spider-Man. I may have to grab this. What's with the logo? Then I put 2 and 2 together, which is sometimes a little beyond the scope of my detective skills, but I realized, oh, Ultimate Neighbor, Ultimate Spider-Man. I did a little research, and yes, in the newer Ultimate Universe books, that is Spider-Man's logo. So it's not a classic style Spider-Man, other than being 96.54% classic style Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm giving a lot to the logo because it's so eye-catching. Why doesn't that spider have a head? But you got to think, if they're doing it this far, that eventually they'll get to a classic neighbor. Won't you be my classic neighbor, please, some point in the future? And then finally, here is the ZoomRig Studios ZR001 MyAlienDad. Just a nice looking superhero type with a great looking base body. I don't keep up with the new companies as they pop up and change names and everything, but from what I understand, this is their first offering. Or it may be their first offering under a new name. Again, I don't know. Because if you get this, and then purchase the accessory set that just so happens to come with it, then you can make this. Yeah, I was wondering what the seam around the pecs was for too. That's to change the logo. You also had the cape, the new neck piece with skin showing above it, alternate heads, and yes, there is that. I also like it when they do the crossed arm piece as a separate attachment. That way you can get very clean with it. I know some figures can get close, but then you still end up with a little bit of awkwardness. This sells it. I'm still not all that into Invincible. I need to watch the series. I need to sit down. It's on the list. We just haven't gotten to it yet. But when I saw this, I thought, that looks fantastic. Like I always say, you can appreciate an action figure from the promotional pictures, even if you don't know the source material yet. Again, I'm interested, especially with the amount of Invincible figures coming in the future. But yeah, here we are. Look at it. The bright white. And unfortunately, that's all I have for this week so far. Again, it's Wednesday. Hasbro's going to show some stuff. We'll get to it next week. Or I'll get to it. I'll be on the road going, what are they showing? As always, special thanks to the Nobots and the Nobodies, the Patreon and the channel members. Look, episode 100. It's crazy to think about. Seems just yesterday we were doing rewind number 1, essentially starting all over. 100 episodes. I appreciate each and every one of you. Me being on the road means I've already recorded something for next week, so that'll be the Marvel Legends Juggernaut. And I apologize in advance. The reason I waited so long to do the review is because I was looking for my Marvel Select Juggernaut, and it is nowhere to be found. I found the head, which I was using on the Marvel Legends body to spruce that up for a long time, but apparently the body jumped up and ran off. You would think something that big would be easy to find. I guarantee as soon as that posts, I'll be digging in a tub and go, how did I miss this? And since I keep harping on about the next play day, I'm gonna give a little tease as soon as the camera focuses. Come on, camera, I'm right here. Is it time to upgrade gear? Okay, here is this. Ooh, MOTU. This is one of the characters I've been wanting to make for a super long time. And thanks to a little help from my friends, it's now a reality. I'm done. I'll let you go. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Have some fun. Like I always say, that's what matters most. Bye.